the end, Brian pleads no contest to 2 charges of child sexual abuse. And the judge sentences him to 16 months in jail and ordered him to register as a sex offender. But we wanted to understand who in Hollywood was supporting Brian through this. So we petitioned the court to unseal the letters of support in this case. Letters of support are meant to influence the judge during the sentencing. In this case, most of them are asking the judge just to give Brian probation. These 41 letters have been kept under seal for 2 decades. Some are from family, some are from friends. Dan Schneider does not write a letter. Top executives at Nickelodeon do not write letters, but some are from Hollywood insiders. You have the actor James Marsden. He writes in the letter, "I assure you, what Brian has been through in the last year is the suffering of 100 men." James Marsden writes that he's known Brian Peck for 14 years, since Marsden himself was a teenager. Taram Killam also wrote a letter of support. He writes, "I've seen the effects this situation has had on Brian, and I know for a fact that he regrets any mistakes made." Some other people who wrote letters of support include the famous sitcom dad, Alan Thicke, the X-Men producer, Tom DeSanto, Ron Melendez, another very well-known actor. Ryder Strong wrote a letter of support for Brian. And Will Friedle from Boy Meets World. We don't know exactly what these people were told about Brian's crimes before they wrote the letters. And we don't know which of these people, if any, were in the courtroom for Brian's sentencing. But these letters show how strong the support for Brian Peck was with people with industry connections. Outside of these individuals, there were over a dozen other letter writers who used similar language to blame the victim, saying that this wouldn't have happened unless Brian was tempted. Joanna Kearns, who met Brian when she was acting on Growing Pains, wrote, "I can only believe that there must have been some extreme situation or temptation exerted upon him to influence his actions." Kimmy Robertson is an actress. She wrote, "I believe with all my heart that Brian was pressured and pushed beyond belief before he caved." This logic is just victim blaming. When this minor suffered at the hands of an adult who was in a very senior, almost parental position to them. There are people who worked with Brian and Drake on The Amanda Show, like the director Rich Carell and the stage manager Beth Carell. Rich says that it would be my pleasure to work with him again. In fact, Brian Peck does end up working with the Carells again on the Disney Channel show, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. It shows that there are not enough protections in place to keep even convicted sexual predators off of kids' TV shows.
In